CNN's Max Foster is live outside Buckingham Palace for us right now. Max, what else are you hearing from the palace tonight about Princess Catherine's condition, not to mention the timing of this announcement?
So we're not going to be told exactly what form of cancer it is. The timing, well, she referred to it there. It's about the kids. She revealed today that she had major abdominal surgery, not just abdominal surgery, so she had to recover from that. Then the news that tests out of that surgery showed that she had cancer. They needed to decompress that as a family. The kids have been at school until today. They didn't want the kids to have lots of news coverage whilst they were at school with all the other kids speaking to their kids, so they wanted to wait until they had left school, which happened today. So they were picked up today, and they won't be having the TVs on tonight. This has all been about trying to make sense of what happened, start the treatment. She started chemo at the end of February, I'm told, and then trying to manage this for the kids as much as anything else. So once William and Kate could make sense of it and then present it to the kids and then try to protect them as much as possible from all this speculation online, which has been really hurtful for the family, as I understand it, but they were particularly worried about the kids finding out that way. And we now know why we weren't being told what the issue was and what she was suffering from in hospital.
Max, Princess Catherine will now be undergoing chemotherapy at the same time as her father-in-law, King Charles. We don't know what kind of cancer either one of them has. What kind of impact will this have on the monarchy?
A huge impact. There are 4 senior royals, the King and Queen and the Prince and Princess. The King is out of public action. He's carrying out duties behind the scenes, of course. We're seeing some images of him. Now the Princess is out of action indefinitely until the doctors clear her to go back to her diary of engagements. We don't know when that's going to be. We only know that she's in the early stages of treatment and she's not going to be comfortable for some time going out. The priority for her is making sure her kids have normality as much as possible. So we've all been asked not to share any images of them out and about. They're being very clear. She is going to be going to hospital. They are going to be out and about. They don't want people sharing those images, which is why they've been transparent, as transparent as they have with us today. But you've basically just got the Queen of the top 4 out leading the charge. William's going to do what he can, but it's pretty clear that he's making his family priority as well.
Max Foster outside Buckingham Palace, thank you so much. Let's bring in CNN's Julia Chatterley. And Julia, Princess Catherine's last public appearance came over Christmas. That was before she had this major abdominal surgery in January. Can you walk us through how all of this has unfolded in recent weeks?
Hey Josh, I can. Jake, sorry, I can. Christmas Day. Brits always watch them at their church service. We saw her looking healthy, vibrant, nothing wrong. Then we didn't see her for 3 weeks. Unusual, but nothing to cause alarm. Then comes January the 17th, in fact, and we got a release from Kensington Palace, a statement on social media saying she'd returned to hospital for planned abdominal surgery, that the procedure was successful, but that Kate would be in hospital for 2 weeks. And it was that 2 weeks that set off, I think, alarm bells and began the wild speculation that we've now been talking about for weeks about what was wrong with Kate and what might be happening. January 29th, the next important date, she was then discharged from hospital, but we didn't see her. She managed to avoid any press and any cameras at that stage. Then, March the 4th, we saw her in a car with her mother, but again there was concerns that perhaps this wasn't her, more speculation about what was going on. Then a brief period till March 10th, where Kensington Palace released that Mother's Day photograph, Mother's Day in the UK, March the 10th, of her and her 3 children, but within hours there was a kill notice issued due to concerns that it had been heavily doctored. The next day, a personal message from Princess Kate herself saying, look, she's an amateur photographer, that she'd tinkered with that photograph and she apologised. Strange again, raising more concerns and conspiracy theories. Then last weekend, the media shared a video of what was and appeared to be Kate and William. Kate looking very healthy, vibrant, vivacious, walking at a local farm near where they're living. So again, that perhaps should have addressed some of the concerns about her health and the situation. It didn't. Fast forward to today, And now all that wild speculation has resulted in what we heard today, of course, and that's a sad cancer diagnosis.
Julia, what did you make of how Princess Catherine decided to make this announcement on video by herself with this message that was personal and emotional?
I think she showed great strength, Jake. I think she could have sat there quite rightly with her husband, with Prince William, providing support. She chose not to do that. I think you could hear the emotion in her voice. She managed to be, and I've said it already, both regal but also vulnerable in the message that she shared. And I think for anybody whose lives been touched by cancer, they understand the challenge that she's facing, the challenge of telling the children, of trying to protect the children. And I think even in the statement, she showed that she's a princess through and through by caring in the end more about other people that are also suffering this, rather than just focusing perhaps on herself and her own family's situation. So very moving, Jake, I'd say.
All right, Julia Chatterley, thank you so much. Joining us now to discuss the medical aspect of this, CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Sanjay, what's your biggest takeaway from what we heard from Princess Catherine today?
I think the biggest takeaway, obviously, is the headline that she has cancer, but that that we don't know what kind of cancer. As you've heard, we don't know the stage of cancer. So there is a significant piece of information, but there's also a lot we don't know. We did get a better sense of the timeline, and you were talking about this with Julia a little bit. But let me just put this up again, Jake, just so you, from a medical standpoint. It sounds like there was concern from the start. We're hearing what we're hearing today, but even from the start, they said, look, she's going to be, it's going to be a long recovery. Even when they admitted her to the hospital, they said it's going to be at least 2 weeks in the hospital, which is a long time. And then we know that about a month after she was discharged from the hospital is when she started what they call preventative chemotherapy. That's what she said in the statement. It's more of an adjuvant chemotherapy. This idea that the operation was performed, we now know that it's cancer. We have to assume that there are some cancer cells that are still remaining, so we're giving chemotherapy. So we still don't know, Jake, what it is. We don't know the stage that it is, but it sounds like it's obviously something that they're being aggressive about and that they have had concern about for some time, Jake.
How does a cancer diagnosis work in this situation? I mean, we know she had abdominal surgery, major abdominal surgery. Do surgeons take samples for further testing?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And again, that's the part of it when you ask me what stands out the most. This is the part that doesn't quite fit because going back to the middle of January, there was obviously significant concern. You wouldn't just do sort of exploratory surgery looking for cancer. I think there was a significant concern. So it sounds like it then got confirmed that this was cancer. They weren't sure maybe initially, but it got confirmed by looking at those samples. This is, you say, Jake, under the microscope after the operation has been performed. And then it might be some time before you'd actually start chemotherapy, allowing someone to heal, for example, from the initial operation. So it was about a month in between the time she was discharged and she started that therapy.
And she's Princess Catherine. She's 42 years old. She's had 3 children. How prevalent are cancer diagnoses in women her age?
They're more prevalent in women her age versus men her age, but a lot less prevalent than in women who are older. One type of cancer that we've been hearing a lot more about starting in younger people is colorectal cancer. So much so, Jake, and you probably know this, but the standard age of screening that was recommended has long been 50 years old. But organizations came out and said it probably should be 45 because we're seeing more and more of these types of cancers in younger people. And that's men or women alike, Jake. And again, we don't know. I just want to be clear. We don't know what kind of cancer this is, but there are certain cancers that we typically thought of happening in older people that now happen in younger people over the last several decades.